Angie Martinez in Real Life Podcast.
This episode and conversation is powered by Duce.
Do we welcome him? Did everybody give Usher, make Usher feel that we appreciate him?
Yeah.
And that he feels loved?
Begrudgingly, my crew, they like,
Yeah, whatever.
you whatever, you know?
He made us work on Sunday.
Yeah.
Usher!
What's up, baby?
Let me tell you something. I came to Vegas to see your show on Friday. And Saturday, I've been working so hard. So Saturday, I was going to do nothing. I was going to catch up on emails and do nothing. And then I was going to come interview on Sunday.
That was the plan originally.
I went to the show on Saturday, and I was I knew it was going to be good. You're Usher. You're always good. But there's something really magical happening out here.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's different level good.
We're greater than every other person who came out here to interview. I wanted you to have an entire weekend experience.
Why, thank you.
So it would start on Friday and then come get,
I was like, why am I coming Friday for a Sunday interview? I think you set me up for a whole weekend.
Yeah.
It's really magical.
But it is. It actually is magical, and not just in part, based off of all of the hit records and the fact that we're here just celebrating the years of music, celebrating 25th anniversary of My Way, but even some of the special guests that come. Fat Joe came the first day that she came.
Fat Joe was here. And who else? Donnell Jones.
Donnell Jones
and
came.
And then the second night was?
It was Robin Thicke, Keith Sweat, and Teddy Riley. Yeah.
Sheesh.
So I got like this donut in the middle of the show. That's like a special little moment for the unknown to happen.
Yeah, you did. I saw Chris Brown came.
Yeah.
It's like a moment to give people their flowers also, but then also have this like connection with them, with everybody in this
Well,
amazing
specifically
room.
in Vegas, because it's supposed to be an accelerated experience here, right? So for me, rather we've done records together, or rather we've just been friends for years. For me and Robin, we go back, to Confessions. And the first time I ever met him, I was just so intrigued by his talent. So we finally got a chance to work together.
It's like a smoothness.
When
like,
I
he's
met
like
him,
the
my man looked
guy.
like Jesus.
Yeah,
he had
got
like
a
hair
swag
here.
about him.
You know what I'm saying? And then but over the years, just building a relationship, I was like, yo, there's no way possible I'm gonna do this one and not have you come out and just share a little love. And then LaFace Records, right?
For all LA was there last night too.
Yes.
Yeah.
L.A. Reid was in the house. Mark Pitts was in the house.
Yeah.
Donnell Jones. L.A. didn't see that show, but I was backstage talking to Donnell, and I'm like, yo, dude, you realize how important LaFace was for just the ground laying? Like, we set the foreplan for all of what Atlanta is. There was plenty of people who were doing things, but not quite as sophisticated as L.A. Reid and Babyface with LaFace Records. So being able to celebrate him, I mean, if I could get everybody up here, it'd be great. But, we are the Motown of the South. Yeah. So I was like, yo, I want us to be, remembered, and I want the audience in the world to be able to see and share in that moment, whether they know the songs or whether they now will go back and understand, oh, wait a minute, Usher he worked with Donnell Jones his first album? Yeah, he did.
That's right, yeah.
And that's kind of how Motown was, right? They all helped each other, whether they pitched in by way of song or by way of, production or even choreography, right? So, that's a little bit of that.
And I love that you took so seriously the thought of like bringing Atlanta to Vegas.
Oh, without a question. Hey, look, everybody else brings their culture. You know what I'm saying? You got like South American culture through, Cirque du Soleil and all of those incredible shows here, and the strip teases. We know what that is for the world, but you don't know what it's like until you go to Atlanta. You know how many people want to know what it feels like to make it rain?
Yeah.
By the way, it was partially my mom's concept and idea. She was like, you got to make it rain.
Okay, Ma.
So I was like, okay, all right, we're going to to bring Atlanta's culture the same way that these other theatrical shows do the same thing in Las Vegas. I wanted it to be our culture. You know what I'm saying?
You killed it. It's so good.
For me, I was like, I'm going to under-promise and over-deliver for this one. One, that's what my entire career has always been. And this time I really get a chance to just celebrate and do some things that I wanted to do. I want to try things that I've never tried before. I want to celebrate culture in a way that, preserves it and gives it a sophistication in a way that, for people who've never been to a club like that, they know what it feels like, who have heard the music, but they don't know the culture. Yeah. Obviously, we were, inching up on the 25 year anniversary for My Way. So the celebration of all those songs, it is a surprise for me every night to go out there and hear my original fans, who some I met when they were 11 years old, now adults with kids of their own.
Yeah.
So this is that moment to like kind of relive our childhood,
Yeah.
but also to get sophisticated, come see something fly, sexy, eat something nice. Whether you come out here alone by yourself, you didn't leave alone. You know what I'm saying? Or either you came out here with your significant other just
There
to have
was
a good
actually
time.
one of the girls on the second night. There was a girl. It was the first night. There was a girl sitting next to us, and she was by herself. And she
Yeah.
came. She looked gorgeous. She came. She got dressed, and she got her seat, and she just sat there and had an amazing time.
Yes, it's
Joy.
really beautiful to look out there and see all those beautiful women, man. It's like I'm outnumbered here. It's like we're the guys, you know what I'm saying? But it's like girls everywhere, and I'm like, it's cool, it's great. But just to celebrate,
Yeah.
in many different, mediums, not just the show, but
Yeah.
also to the memes and all the other things that have happened as a result of like just getting back to the basics.
Mm-hmm.
I think I tried for so long, and Angie, every time I put out an album, there's some meaning or purpose behind it. I really, had, kind of been in this, analysis paralysis thing that is all about trying to create the next moment, the music.
I
And-
wanted that about you.
Right. So for me, it was like, let's stop for 2 seconds. Let's not put out an album, because I had been putting out records here and there.
Yeah.
And these songs were great. I did a record with LMA.
Yeah.
A couple of records dropped during the pandemic. And I was just like, I just really want to go back and celebrate the classic music for 2 seconds and enjoy all of the years. I never get a chance to do that because
Yeah.
I'm always focused
Maybe
on
that's
the
what
future.
it is. Because I was trying to put my finger on the feeling of, because this felt like a victory lap. It feels like we all come up and we're all chasing things and we're all working so hard and trying to come up with the next thing and what
Yeah.
you're saying, like create and create it. But then you get to a point in your career where you're like comfortable and you're enjoying I feel like I watched you do that in this show. Like you just rocking your crown like comfortably.
Well, when you've been doing it as long as I have, part of it is analyzing it being perfect. But when you finally just stop for 2 seconds and maybe look at all of the things that you've done, there's a lot to celebrate. And no one man is an island. These songs, either, we produced it together with other producers and writers
Yeah.
and the creatives that really helped me, kind of curate the entire show. I think we were mindful of all of that, even where we're right now, like this whole immersive experience where,
Crazy.
you begin to understand the world of where it came from. That wall over there, it normally is like full of footage and things from me when I was a kid. My first talent show, 1991 footage of me
Nuts.
at Atlanta, talent search in Atlanta, and then just going throughout the entire process. But yeah, I think I have kind of had the opportunity to celebrate. I ain't resting, but I'm really celebrating the past, the music, the history that I've been able to
It
create.
seems like you're having fun.
I'm having fun, one, because I'm choosing to. The
Yeah.
second half is I'm happy, actually. I've never really taken the time to stop and really, be happy. I feel like my relationships are in a really good place. I feel like I'm learning how to communicate better.
How do you do that? How'd you do that? What do you attribute all of this to?
Listening. You can hear somebody, but are you really listening? When you slow down and you begin to understand what's priority. Family is priority to me. Love, real love is priority to me. And I've had enough difficult situations in my life to now be able to assess the people who are really there for some reason. There's an agenda. And then the people who really love me, whom I should love and I should appreciate. And I can take my time and enjoy and celebrate with some of those people I'm working with on this show. Some of these people I don't work with, but they're with me and we're able to just talk. Some people I've worked with, but we no longer work together. But now we can just enjoy our relationship. A lot of therapy.
I was wondering. It sounds like there's therapy in there.
Yeah, there is. And some people are it's a bit complicated for people who out there who probably analyze, allowing someone to sit in and listen to your conversation and try to help you hear your partner or hear, your family member or hear really what your suffering is all about. And I think a lot of that has to do with my happiness. I think a lot of, my feeling is confident and is exciting is having great partnership. I got an amazing partner in life, Jennifer Goecochea.
She asked if I wanted Puerto Rican food before we started.
Yeah.
And it was actually Puerto Rican food. I was like, and then I'm going to tell you this too. I had my glam come to the hotel before I came here, and I guess they must do glam for the show also.
Yeah.
And they were saying how much Jen takes care of everyone on the set. Like,
Yeah.
she just takes care of everybody. They just were gushing about her, how much they loved her. I was happy to know that you have somebody in your life that is that loved by your, by everybody.
And my mama like her and love her too.
Your
Ain't that
mama
crazy?
loves her. That's great.
I said she like her
like
and
she-
love her.
Oh, she likes her and love her.
That's
right.
hard to accomplish
Yeah.
that too. Those two things.
But
But
something had to change in you to be able to even be open to that. So you had to shift something, right?
sometimes you go through shit to get to shit. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You go through something to get to something in life. Good friend of mine, DJ Rogers, used to say this to me all the time. He's like, yo, if there were no humps in life, there'd be nothing to get over. Like, oh man, it's hard. Now I get it. You live long enough,
Yeah.
you begin to understand, and as I said, prioritize what makes,
What's the best
sense.
love lesson you learned in terms of like just self-correction?
Self-correction.
Yeah, in terms
I
of
think
like
that's
love
it.
and relationships.
I think loving yourself and forgiving yourself, for whatever you may have, wanted to accomplish and didn't, for, whatever you may have wanted to do and you didn't get a chance to do it, or whatever you wanted to have and you didn't have. Sometimes we'll place that blame out. We'll look out. But when you take 2 seconds to really, be alone and look in the mirror, ain't nobody else there but you and that other person in the mirror. So that means that's the one you got to get right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you got to trust yourself. You got to listen to yourself, and you got to believe without, any impression of what you think that you might need to be doing based off of what you're looking at or what someone else has. How do you feel? And no matter what level you're playing at, if you take the time to deal with him or her in that mirror first, you'll be a better person.
Accountability.
Patience with self too.
Yeah.
Because I think,
Yes.
yeah.
And yes.
Yeah.
We do things for other people we don't give ourselves the same grace and the same kind of like patience and
Well, we all out here looking for something else and not able to, be single long enough to. And I sound crazy even saying that because I'm never single long enough to even do it. But I did it in the
some people are single for a
2
very
months
long
that I was
time.
able to be single.
How did that feel for you in those 2 months?
Man, I was crazy. It was good. But it wasn't good as what I got.
What you got is better. It's funny seeing you on that stage with all those women and all that energy, and I was like, I wonder how that is to be in a relationship. Well, you clearly you like a relationship.
Yeah, I'm never not single.
Because you like love, right? You love-
I'm never single. I love love. I'm just fucking bad at it. You know what I'm saying?
But you're getting better though.
I'm getting better. You know what I'm saying? Good partnership definitely, breeds great things.
Yeah, but if you're not ready, it doesn't matter. The greatest person in the world, if you can't contribute to it, it's not gonna.
Well, it starts with you.
Yeah, for sure.
It's self-accountability again. When you're able to take that time and deal with yourself,
I'm curious what your
and you
biggest.
can be happy with anybody. You know what I'm saying?
If I'm thinking about myself in terms of therapy and all of that, the things, I had to be accountable for, like, saying what I want was like a thing for me. Like, you think somebody else should know what you need or what you want. And for me, I had to
Yeah.
learn how to, so that was a thing. I wonder for you, like, what was your thing that you had to fix about you?
I'm perfect. What you talking about now?
No, you're not perfect. You weren't perfect. You might be perfect now. But we all have to
by the way,
to self-correct.
having a partner who will be honest with you, brutally honest with you, and you can take that constructive criticism because it comes from a good place and you've spent enough time, you're friends enough, and you've established trust. Trust is the main, component to happiness and success in a relationship.
Yeah.
Being able to actually hear each other and speak up.
Yeah.
It's hard, right? To even know what you really want and what really matters. I think most of the time we all just want to be heard.
Yeah. A lot of people, when you say trust, they assume, because I know what you mean, because some people think trust means trust my partner not to cheat or to this or trust it, but it's also like you have to trust somebody
those things can become trivial, because
You have to trust somebody able to receive their information with
Yeah.
love. You have to trust their intentions. You have to
Yeah.
trust is way bigger than just whatever people normally connected with.
yeah,
You know what I mean? The fact that
it
you
is.
trust her to tell you, hey, that was whack, or you didn't like whatever the thing. However she asked it, how I would say it.
Yeah,
Whatever the
y'all
thing.
Puerto Ricans, y'all
she
definitely
talks to you like that.
keep it 100. Yeah, you know what I'm
That
saying?
wasn't cool what you did right there.
Yeah, I don't know about that,
Playboy.
Playboy.
But you have to trust to be able to let somebody say that to you and know and be okay with it.
Yeah.
Not, I don't know about that, Playboy.
Yeah. Well, again, just being able to hear
great.
each other, being able to. I'm trying to find the exact word of what it's called.
Take your time, boo. Take your time.
The idea in a and by the way, this is not like a perfect thing, right?
Right.
But when you're in a relationship with someone and they're talking, but you don't really get a chance to hear what they're saying because you're trying to get your point across. They're trying to get their point across. And by the end of the conversation, you've just been trying to fight your one point as opposed to actually hearing each other, right? So an exercise that I've managed to work into life, not just relationship and love, but life period. If you give me what it is that your issue is, and I hear it, and then I'm able to repeat it back to you before I respond,
Yes.
right?
Usher, I'm feeling like I don't know.
Yeah, whatever it
I
is.
was. You didn't listen to me last night at the.
You're angry because I didn't listen to you last night.
This is good exercise. This is therapy 101. This
and
is
then
good.
and then you ask, what else?
Oh, right. Is there more?
Is there more? They give you more. You repeat back verbatim so that
I know this exercise from therapy.
Right. It works.
But you actually use it, you do it.
It actually works. It resolves issues and it gets to the point, especially when a person is nervous, because it's like, okay, I got a few seconds to try to get a word in and try to figure out how to get my point or either. And then it turns into this argument where I'm going to one-up you. Then you start insulting each other.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to one-up you in an insult. And then before you know it, one party can walk away and nothing's resolved. I didn't hear you. You didn't hear me. We didn't get to any good point of communication. So how can we now get to a successful place
Yeah.
where we're happy? Because we're going to have to sleep in the bed together or either be around the kids or be around each other and do business together, whatever it might be.
Right.
But to be able to perception check is what it's called.
Some people just want to be heard
That's it.
too.
Because the
Break that
perception
down.
to perception check greater than just hearing what you're saying, to have a perception of exactly what it is you're saying and then repeat it verbatim. You can't say you didn't hear me because you repeated it to me one.
Right.
Right? It's free therapy, by the way. And this shit really
You're
does
welcome.
work. You're
Free game.
welcome. It's free game in a relationship. You want a successful relationship, you try this. I'm telling you it's going to work. Is there more? She gives it to you. Is there more? By the time she's resolved, whatever her issue is, smaller, because it probably is something much smaller than you would ever
Yeah.
imagine it would be. And maybe as a man, I'm insulted that you even talking to me the way you're talking to me. But if I get past all of that and I just hear you, we get to the end of it. Now we're at the end of it. 9 times out of 10, I won't even have a rebuttal or a reason to try to come back at
Yeah,
it.
you
I'll
just
say,
want to be heard. Sometimes you just want to be heard.
sometimes you just want, and by the way, vice versa. Women have to try it the same way for men. Because sometimes it might be, it's hard for a guy to be vulnerable and really tell you the shit that he's going through as a man, any man. He has a hill to climb, especially black men or minorities in America, and whatever minority group you choose to stand with, right?
Yeah.
It's hard, right? So now I'm at home and my house is supposed to be in order, and I got to be able to talk to you and tell you exactly what I
vulnerable.
feel. Be vulnerable with you, only you. I got to fight the rest of the world, but I want to be able to really talk to you. Talk to you, tell you exactly what I'm feeling, and you say, is there anything else? And I have to think about it. I give you what else. Hopefully you don't take too long, but you eventually get to a place
Right.
where
But you're heard then. And you're heard.
don't just, yes.
Yes.
Well, no, don't just hear me. No, don't just listen to me. You said it right.
Yeah,
Don't just
you're
listen
heard.
to me. Really hear me
Yeah.
and process, perception check with each other. That's one gift. That's one lesson that I
That's a-
feel like really helps us.
That is not a small thing.
Yeah, it's really hard to.
Because the opposite of that, just for anybody who's never been to therapy, right? So hey, this bothers me, and then you have to defend.
You feel attacked.
You feel attacked.
Right.
So now you're engaging in war that you can't win because neither one of you feels heard or feels, like it's no connection. So that's normally what happens when people argue.
Well,
Anyway, it's a good
by the
gift.
way, if you're dealing with a selfish partner, then that might be an indication that this partner ain't for you.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying perception check with an idiot. I'm not saying perception check with a person who's just selfish and can't, allow you to have at least some space to be able to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are signs, right? In the event that the signs are telling you it's not right, maybe you should listen.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
Usher, I'm so happy for you.
I'm happy for me too right now.
I'm happy for you. Everybody's, I don't know, you're in a good, it's so good, and it's obvious.
Thank you.
I've seen you perform. You're always great on stage.
Yeah.
But you're like happy up there, and
Yeah.
it resonates.
Yeah.
It's different. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You feel it. I feel it. Maybe because I know you, I don't know, but I feel it. I'm sure other people tell you this too.
Yeah. It is the ability to have peace, right? And not feel as though I have to prove anything.
Yeah.
I think that we all go through that. I have to prove something.
That's something I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
Like you having because I feel like even you as a kid coming up in this business and having all this talent that you had, I feel like we look at Michael Jackson and he was probably somebody, you probably looked at Michael's career.
Yeah.
This is the goal, right? This is from what I know of you and from your career.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever feel like you've reached that for yourself, whatever that thing was?
I think everybody has their own story. Some people start later in their life, so they've had the opportunity to live out certain experiences, gather what they feel about life, have ambition, be ambitious, have integrity or not, figure it out, hook or crook, how you get there, and then the career starts. For me, it started before I had any of those experiences. No, I'm not quite like Michael, but I got my own experience and I have my own history. And I think it started by someone else's interpretation of me. Right? Again, we all have
you're a
this,
kid.
you're a kid, and we all have to be brought up. So long as you're able to look at every experience as a great one, good or bad, it'll work out for you. Don't just be all right with the yeses. Don't just be okay with the wins. Accept your losses. Accept your moments that are perceived to be losses to only make you better for the future. Rather, man, it was a really difficult start and, I had to make so many sacrifices in the beginning. Great that you did, because now you can appreciate this moment where you're standing on the mountaintop. But it's hard. It's hard to do that when you're in the middle of it. I part of it is my upbringing. I'm very happy that my mother raised me and my brother the way that she did. I'm really happy that I had some elders in my life and also 2 mentors that are still there. Consiglieres that, are there to be able
Good
to,
ones too. Boy.
yeah, to be able to help you really understand. And then life is as much as you choose to explore and educate yourself. There ain't shit you can't read right now. So if you can, take the time to sit down and understand what a person's life was, where they started, what their story is, and gather something from it. But if you are fortunate to have mentors, if you're fortunate enough to have friends that'll keep it real with you, that'll be with you through thick and thin, then hopefully, it'll lead you in the right direction. But, part of that madness, if we look at Michael's life, you use him as an example, all of being in that made him the genius that he is. Being in New York City with Biggie and Puff when he first started Bad Boy Records, and kind of being in the midst of, him working on my album with L.A. Reid as he employed him to give me whatever it was, swag, it kind of dimmed the light that was my own and gave me something. It gave me hustle. It gave me tenacity. It gave me, that man gave me focus, because ain't nobody more focused and got more hustle than Puff.
Yeah,
like
for
in order
sure.
to understand how to get it, and also to motivate everybody around him to drive at their best. If you ain't running at 120%, you ain't fucking with me. Get where I'm at, and then we'll see what we're talking about. Otherwise, get what you can, and I'll see you later. You'll thank me later. But for real, that guy right there, he was a motivator. And, everything that I was able to pick up, I did manage to use at some point. No, my first album wasn't the most wildly successful album, but when I play it out there, I
They
got
love
day one
it.
fans that love it.
Yeah.
And rather they go back and they are a part of it, and I feel fortunate to be able to, have those, those songs and those moments. But I really found my way to my own light when I got to my way,
I think too, the thing I was thinking about is like, I put you in a category of greats, right? I'm sure a lot of people do. Do you do for yourself? Do you think of yourself that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Okay.
You have to think of
you have
yourself
to.
that
Yes.
way.
Okay,
Absolutely.
good.
Yeah.
But
some people would perceive that as like, being
arrogant?
arrogance or conceited.
No, it's just facts.
Yeah.
It's just facts.
Yo, this is a basketball game in life, right?
Yeah, look at the
it's
numbers.
This is a football game
yeah.
in life. If I go out on this field and I'm like tiptoeing around, you're gonna knock my block off.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to the hoop, and I'm gonna go through you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get through you to get where I gotta go. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like a basketball player, the goal is the championship or the rings or whatever the thing is.
It's one shot at a time, really.
Okay.
It's one shot at a time, and understanding team ball. That's basketball. For music, it's similar. No one man is an island. It's understanding that collaboration is important, but you gotta believe this shit. You gotta believe that, yo, I can do this. Anything I put my mind to, I can make it. I can
heard
do
you
it.
say that to be an artist, you have to be a little bit delusional. Like
Yeah.
you have to be a little nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
You have to, because you're thinking of it before anybody else, so it didn't exist before you thought of it. So you have to be able to think about something.
And not only are you thinking of it, but
You're creating it.
You're creating it in real time. And more than likely, it's driving you crazy because it's in your mind and no one else can see it. So you got to manage to motivate, push the envelope, push yourself and push everybody around you to believe what you see,
It's so good. But when you look at the greats, sometimes it makes them crazy chasing this. You're chasing MJ, or you're chasing whatever. If you're a basketball player, you're chasing LeBron or Jordan or whatever it is. Do you feel like next to MJ, next to all the greats, that you are there, or are you still chasing a version of that for yourself?
Being able to walk in their footsteps was the first thing. So I followed them. I studied them. I trained the way they trained. I pushed myself the way they pushed themselves. I analyzed what I knew versus what I didn't, and tried to speak to a more broader audience and tried to reach and keep going. And it started here, but then they managed to get here. Not the same style of music, not the same genres, not the same production, but the same amount of commitment. For me, yeah, because I've been carrying their torch, because I've been standing on their shoulders, now I'm in a position where I look forward, and now hopefully somebody's coming behind me, standing on my shoulders, and going to push it forward as well.
It's already happened.
Yeah, I'll accept that. Yes,
Yeah.
that by the way was always the plan. It was never to be big as Michael. It was never to be big as Bobby. It was never to be big as Stevie. I just wanted the journey. I wanted to get there. I wanted to manage to every day have some place to go and someone to care about me being there or actually going for it, right? When you create like, okay, I just have to have this thing. I want the money. When you get the money, what are you going to do?
Yeah, right.
So you made it about the money. It's over now. But when the journey is the destination, you never stop reaching. I don't know if I'll ever stop. And so long as I'm able to be happy in doing it, and hopefully, my fans will continue to carry me in that process and celebrate what I'm making. But the reason why I say that is because I feel like I'm carrying a standard, right? Greater than the points that I'm putting on the board. The performers that they were, the fact that their mics were actually on and they were dancing and singing and performing and giving and leaving it on the stage, that's what I picked up from them. And I want to make sure that this generation doesn't forget about that part.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to just put your TV track on or either your song on, go up and have a DJ just rock it and that's it.
And the crowd likes it and it's fine. And
you got to do the work. You got to put the work in. All the young cats, I know all of them, matter of fact.
No, you're so good with them. I was wondering how much of that is like.
I don't close my door to nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm big bro in that way. Unc, whatever you want to call me. I give the information because it's important for us to continue to keep the legacy moving
Not
forward.
Unc. Nobody should call you Unc.
I mean, some of them young enough too. You know what I'm saying?
I don't feel like you unk status yet. Come on.
I mean, I don't feel like I'm nowhere near it. You know what I'm saying? But
I don't feel like you unk status. So you got a lot to do. I know you still do. But I feel like you should have comfort in knowing that if you did nothing else, which I know you will do more, if you did nothing else, like, you've done enough. Do you feel like that?
I always feel like there's more, though.
Of course.
Yeah, but
as you should. But there's comfort in knowing.
The comfort in knowing is part of it, but not feeling as though you have to prove something is what I think I hear you saying.
Yeah.
Do I feel like I have to prove something to anybody? No. I'm in my own light, and I got my own ideas, and I'm pushing forward. And again, it's the integrity of what it is that I collected in my life from these incredible greats that now has made me who I am. So now I can just be who I am. You can follow it. It ain't gonna be easy.
Good luck.
I ain't making it easy for you.
You shouldn't.
Nah, of course not.
Good
And them
luck.
points do matter in that light. You know what I'm saying? But
You competitive? You're competitive.
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
You watched what other people are doing, and is there people that are inspiring you, or you just in
I'm
your
encouraged. I don't know if that I'm,
Inspired.
yeah, I'm encouraged. There are things that do inspire me because, as I think, our culture changes, and it flips, music, R&B, rhythm and blues, rather it turned into hip hop. Rhythm and blues to me is the base of it all. Jazz before rhythm and blues is really the base of it all. And that was just this ever morphing thing based off of the person's interpretation of it, an instrument that they picked up, or how they chose to use their instrument. Rather it was spoken word and they were spitting, bars, or rather it was, Miles through a horn, or rather it was, Jimi Hendrix through a guitar. So for me, being able to contribute to any of it in this time, I'm happy. Rather legendary status. I'm carrying the torch of everything that I have seen, and the things that I loved about them had everything to do with integrity, integrity for the music, and integrity for the art.
And legendary status. That's exactly what I was trying to get to
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
There, you did it.
Yeah.
Kinda,
I don't know why I feel so hard, just accepting that.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know.
Do you
I don't
think
know.
about it? Is there a moment?
I think something in our history.
Usher, you are a legend.
I thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did that.
you did.
But I'm telling you, something in our history along the process is like, yo, be humble. Like, yeah, be humble, but be proud that you can even do any of it, because that's part of what's driving it. This.
And it's also, if you take yourself out of the equation, because I think we're all here to share our gifts with people, right? So that other people can take from whatever they take from us.
Yeah.
The fact that you are a legend and you have built that, it's inspiring. It brings joy to people. So if you don't acknowledge and accept that, it's almost like you're not even giving it to the people. You know what I mean? You don't even allow the people to fully feel that. So,
well, part of it is this: the idea that something is going to be taken away from you in a moment's time.
never.
No, but my point is, it could be something, right?
That comes from you being a young kid coming up, always trying to have a hit.
No, that's life.
Trying to be
That
hot, be not hot.
That's life, because okay, let's say it's one record that is not as successful as the other records.
Yeah.
Should I now not look at you as a legend? That happens with artists.
Yeah,
and
but
creativity.
I think yes, but I think you have finally transcended that.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are certain artists that if you never make another record, or if you put out 20 horrible records, it does not negate the legendary status that you've created. That is not a thing that many people can claim.
Yeah.
There's a handful of artists that are still relevant, that are still active, that could claim that status.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. Don't argue with me about it.
I ain't arguing. I ain't arguing with y'all.
Did you hear what I said?
Thank you.
Yes. Is there anything else? Is there anything more? I'm using our exercise of listening. No, it's amazing. It's amazing to see. It's inspiring, man. It's what, to me, what makes the show so special, because it's like you feel that. Like, it just whatever. We should talk about I saw this was it the doc or was it the masterclass thing where you talked about prepping for a show like this, that you do meditate with the dancers and the crew, and
Yeah.
is that something is that new in your life,
Actually,
or is that a
meditate-
since therapy?
So since therapy, before,
Yeah.
actually transcendental meditation was the first entrance into meditation for me, and then other, forms of meditation. I really picked up as I began to kind of, just invest in this idea of mental health and how we sustain. Being able to talk to someone, having a therapist, or either someone who is of sound mind to be able to share, and you can be vulnerable and have trust with, is important. But then there are things that we can do to really help file, our thinking and all of the things that we're collecting. Meditation is how I do that. Transcendental meditation was the first way of doing it. It was like, basically a mantra. It's a word, and then you kind of,
My therapist keeps trying to get me to do it, and I want
silence. Silence is the hardest thing for any of us to cope with, especially thinkers and incredible people, legendary people like yourself.
Please. The ADD kicks in. I want to multitask.
You want to get up and you move, it's like your leg is moving, your hand is moving.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Believe it or not, though, transcendental meditation teaches you not to run from that, right? But again, there are other deeper forms of meditation.
You're on medication?
Yeah, meditation.
Oh.
That manages to really hit. But by the way, medication versus meditation. No, medication versus meditation. I would always go with meditation. But it's very hard, especially for people who have a great deal of pressure and expectation placed on them, because there's this idea of having to live up to something, and you're then plagued with this activation of your brain, and you've now managed to get it in this place where it's just constantly throwing you ideas, and which one sticks, and what should you do, what shouldn't you do? Oh, I feel this, I'm gonna do this. No, don't do that. When you manage to slow it down and be in silence with yourself, rather you meditate.
How long is this going on for?
For me, it started off at 5 minutes
Okay.
in 3 intervals throughout an entire day. Then I managed to get up to 20 minutes. 20 minutes is
Every
really
day?
That's a standard. 20 minutes 3 times a day.
3 times a day.
Got to do it. Rather you just manage to get up early enough to just sit there in silence. Even if your mind is going, just sit there in silence. Don't do anything. Don't pick your phone up. Don't answer the phone. Don't respond to anybody. Give yourself.
And what happens to you?
You're in a state, right? The most important part of our entire being is our state of being. What state of being are you in? Are you suffering or are you not suffering? Those are the 2 states. There's no other states to be in. You're either suffering or you're not suffering.
Is that real? Is that
It
true?
is real. It is the only 2
Could you be
states.
suffering a little?
Nope.
No.
You're either suffering or you're not. And if you've managed to put yourself in a beautiful state of being, right, where you're not suffering, then you can manage to allow the universe to actually unfold for you.
Ooh, that's good.
Because what's intended to happen will. You can try and fuck it up as much as you want to, but if it's intended to happen, it's going to keep coming around until you finally get it. You ever say, like, man, I knew, something told me? That's the universe telling you, move this way, do this. But if you're not in the right state, you're not going to catch it. You're not going to see it.
Right.
And if you're constantly in this hectic state of mind and state of being and suffering and trying to live or trying to do this, you ain't going to get to it.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Suffering or not suffering?
2 states, that's it. That's 2 states of being. Yes. That's it. You're either in a suffering state or a non-suffering state.
But if the answer is yes, I'm suffering, then what is the...
Then that's part of the problem. Okay, so now you know you're suffering. Now let's get into why you are suffering. You begin to open it up. You begin to understand, man, it was something that I had in my mind that I thought I needed to fix as a kid. I was 3. I didn't know any difference any better, but that became the ploy of how I look at my entire life. Somebody told me no, so it was always no. So I always thought no. I always thought I couldn't do that, or I thought I shouldn't do that, or that was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
This is deeper work, you know what I'm saying?
It forces you to look at the why.
It forces you to go back and speak to your child sometimes. Like, get into the mind of where you were and where you picked up some idea.
And why you're suffering.
Yeah.
Is this something you learned? Is this something somebody taught you?
It's something that I've experienced and I managed to see for myself in life through meditation, through, a great deal of just patience with myself, studying, trying to get myself in a better state of being where I'm not walking around just suffering all day.
Were you suffering for a long time?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was the cause of that?
My suffering, I think, primarily is the expectation to live up to something, or either something that was missing. Right? I need to add something more to my life because I'm not happy in this present moment. I got to get to that other thing.
Does it help you define it too, right? If you don't even know or recognize you're suffering.
I think more than likely, all of us are kind of stuck in a suffering state. It's the state that you choose to set yourself in. When you're actually meditating, you're more than likely calm enough in order to let you, this enables you, right, from being able to see what it is that you're dealing with. I'm frantic. I gotta just go figure out. But wait a minute. Just slow down. Just stop for 2 seconds. Then you realize it's not as pressing as you thought it was.
I don't know why I'm stressed out. I'm not even suffering.
I'm not.
That's what it does to you, right? You have that thought, like, why am I even?
What can I do about it?
Yeah.
Let me focus on the positive
So
of this situation.
good.
Yeah.
It's so good. I
Yeah.
saw you telling the crowd that a little bit on the first night of the show. You told everybody to turn their phones off, to be in the moment, and to
Be present.
be present.
Yep.
And then you said, I don't want to sound like the old guy, the old man, or I forget what the words you used, but you referenced.
No, I said I'm getting older, right? And, it's these mantras and things that older people always coming up with, like these wise tales and,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
That when you're young, you're
in the
like-
land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't want to, serve it as rhetoric or either anything like that. But, are we able to be okay with no as much as we are with yes? Wins as much as we are with losses, because they're the same. We don't see it, but they are.
I've never heard it said like that.
Hey, listen, if
I've
you
heard,
manage.
I've heard, you learn from your mistakes. Everything is a process.
Okay, well then
all
why wouldn't
that.
you? Everything is a process.
Yeah.
You learn from your I learned something from my mistake.
Yeah, but I've never heard yes is the same as no.
It should be. In our minds, we can't see it that way because we're all kind of like looking for the win only.
Oh, that's good.
But there's measures, There's measures in life. There's time. There's a moment for everything. And nothing is happening by coincidence. Everything is intended to happen. You just don't fight it. If you choose or try to, you're just going to make their process longer.
So good.
Yeah.
How are you doing with because this is like grown Usher now. Like, how did you, because you started so young, you're grown, you're still not unk status.
I wouldn't say I am. I'm saying if you're like 6 years old and you're trying to
You want to call me unk, that's cool. But how have you dealt with age? Because famous people, and sometimes that's challenging, especially when you start so young and you're looked at as a kid or you looked at as this young, and now you're like a grown man, 4 kids. Like, was there ever a weird transition for you in that?
Yeah, I mean, it became painstakingly obvious when I had to deal with a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old who, are like in need of parenting.
Right.
And, as complicated as it is to be our parents, we get it now that we're on the other side of it.
Yeah.
As an entertainer, I don't know. I think that in, the eyes of my fans, I guess I'm as old as the experience that they've had, whether they had it then or whether they're still having it now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if music is able to give you age in that way. I think if anything, it preserves your age because you go back to that moment. And for me, I'm actually working my way back in it every time I'm performing it. Rather I'm, doing a handstand or,
You still moving the same.
trying to get the body right in order to have that shirt off, whatever. You know
You're
what I'm saying?
not doing any weird old man. Sometimes the dance as you get older, it has a little. There's some of our favorites. The dance a little later on starts to get not
Yeah.
as. Well, you're showing no signs of that.
Well, for me, the performance had always been a major part of who I was.
Yeah.
So it's always kept me young.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, I get
that was the fun part of it,
Yeah. But not everybody makes that transition from child to young to grown comfortably. Especially people in the public eye, they fight it, and we see them fighting it, and it's never It's always uncomfortable to watch, but I don't think we've ever seen any kind of weird transition. Maybe internally you had one, but we didn't see it. You weren't like.
I think if anything, that transition probably was difficult between me and my mom, and very difficult because of our work relationship that then became family relationship, right? And I think ultimately it had always just been about my mom wanting me to be the best or have the best or not go through any kind of pain, which is her own suffering, because she's thinking about what she went through and not looking at me for where I am suffering.
She must be proud now.
She's very proud now because she understands that no matter what she may have wanted, what was intended to happen we were always going to be good. We're always going to be where we were. And our relationship as mother and son is more important than anything. And now we can have all the other stuff.
And she got these grandbabies.
And now she got grandbabies that she got to deal with.
4.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
4. And she loves dealing with them.
Of course they do. I hear it's easier to be a grandparent. It's more fun being a grandparent. You get to do all the fun stuff.
Yeah. Until you meet Cinco, my oldest son.
How old is he now?
He's 14.
Oh, okay. That's a tough age.
But no, they have their code. I don't know if I go through the thing with grandma the way normal, everybody else says. When grandparents get their kids, they just let them get away with everything. Because my mom, she's still on it. You know what I'm saying?
Your mom's still young.
Yeah, she's still young. She's still on it. Yeah.
How's being a dad changed you? And a recent kind of and girl dad now. And
Yeah, girl dad has definitely made me soft. I was just in a jumpy house, no socks.
Just now?
Just
you went pumpkin picking.
I went
earlier.
pumpkin patching. Yeah.
You was in the.
I mean, by the way, I did it with my boys too. But with your daughter, it's a different thing. Like I'm literally walking her through everything and trying to make sure I'm the bodyguard.
You security.
Yeah, security. Yeah.
You on stage last night.
Yep.
Then you was at the after party.
Yep.
And then you was at the pumpkin patch.
Pumpkin patching and getting ready for school. Hey, yep, you got what you need. Noticed something yesterday. You missed class. No, I didn't miss class. That was tutoring. Okay, got it. Great. Just want to make sure I let you know I see it. What's going on here?
You're on it.
Yeah, of course. You got to be. You know what I'm saying? My responsibilities as a dad is more important than anything that I do here. That's what changed me, to be able to say that I could be, that for my kids. I suffered a long time, analyzing and making moves based off of the fact that I didn't have a dad. I wanted things to be perfect because I didn't have it.
Perfect dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I wanted to try to do the perfect thing in order to make sure that I didn't make my son feel like I felt my own suffering. Had nothing to do with him.
Isn't that crazy how that does it to us? Our parents, like, I just did my last episode I did with Kelly Rowland, and we were talking about daddy issues, and it's like, for women especially, daddy issues is like a big thing, but we never really talk about like men.
Yeah.
What that does to you.
Yeah, well, not being there or either being around, but kind of being an absentee, and probably because it's just the standards of where life was for men back in those times. It's always kind of been this idea, don't cry. You soft if you cry. I don't believe in that. I believe that your kids can cry, but they need to get up. They need to keep moving. It's all right to be vulnerable. It's all right to have moments. Don't share them with everybody because they ain't everybody's business. But to have a dad that you can talk to and, be able to be transparent with to help your kids, I think it's important to have that for men. In our time earlier, it probably wouldn't. I can't say it because my dad wasn't that. I didn't have that kind of relationship with my dad, But changed everything about me. I think it gave me true responsibility. It gave purpose for those late nights. Like I did that anyway in my life, but as a father, you do it for a different reason, with a different outcome, or at least expectation for an outcome.
Are you a good dad? Do you think now that you?
Though I can be tough at sometimes, and I think I managed to make everybody feel like I'm their dad.
You're the dad of the group. He's dad. It's daddy's home.
But
Are you everybody's daddy, Usher?
Kind of, sort of. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody's daddy.
I just want everybody to, to be their greatest, man. And
what do you ask God for most? What do you pray for?
What do I pray for most?
Because it seems like you have everything.
His grace, covering. I pray more than anything, giving thanks that I'm able to pray, that I actually have the voice to be able to share it. The fact that he's chosen, you know, me and also two people around as vessels for some purpose that could help me through life and also to help a lot of people. I pray for my children. I pray for my loved ones. I pray for those who are in my soul circle. The people who...
Your soul circle. I love that.
Yeah, the people who matter, you know, for life. And will affect those people who... Because, by the way, in this soul circle are all people who affect each other. Whether it's my mom or my children or my ex-wife or, you know, people who have been there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that shit gets hard. But, you know. But praying a covering over for the sake of making sure that as we go into the next season of whatever life has to offer for my kids who have kids, you know, that they don't bring the same issues that we had in ours into theirs, that we can remedy and fix some of those things, you know?
What do you think now? Because everybody's purpose, I think, well, no, some people, they're born, they feel like they have a purpose, they know what it is. Sometimes they change throughout our lives.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you know what yours is?
We know it has something to do with music so far.
Right.
But I think after that, rather it's an example of a business, because business has obviously been a part of my life, not as much as a priority, but to be recognized as a businessman that speaks through.
I would have never guessed that.
I mean, I've made plays. I've done things. I've had involvement in major things. And also, too, more than anything, have been, oddly enough, a usher for other people to be able to be introduced into spaces and have benefited from that. Don't get me wrong. But to now be in a position to prepare people and to create a standard that we can benefit from, an ecosystem that I think that we can benefit from better than having to rely so much on infrastructure that's been set before we got here. So that's really my next focus.
Huh. So you're like going to go back to the studio? I know you're in this moment, but
I'm not done.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm not done. Don't get me wrong. No. Matter of fact, I don't care what business I'm in. I'm going to still make music and also to either be a part of creativity in that space of music, because it's something that I know so well. I understand what it is. I understand how to do it, and I don't take it for granted. But I love to be able to be creative in that space. But business that's in a lifestyle, that is aspirational, that is a part of our culture, that leads to some sense of knowledge for all of our people to be able to continue to collect it and utilize it or either benefit from it.
Is this something that's happening already? Is there a
There's many things, you know. Me and Reid have been working together.
Yes, love that.
We hadn't been working together for a very long time. You know, so to be able to be back in each other's lives, and I think that he's been such a valuable commodity, you know, for so many industries, and you know, and so many incredible entities. But now to be able to come together and have ownership in what we're building for a future.
You making a label?
It's gonna be that and then some.
And then some.
Yep.
A network and a label or something like this.
I
You're
mean,
being very mysterious, Usher.
Well,
but I'm excited, whatever it is. We'll follow.
I'm being mysterious because, you know,
you're in the process.
We're in the process.
Got it.
But you've seen us together, right? You better watch this.
Watch this.
You know what I'm saying? But we've been around each other recently, you know, just reminding ourselves of why we got started and what it was about, where it came from, looking at and analyzing the things that have happened in life, what could have been better, what we could have done differently, and the importance of our legacy and the aspiration of what it is that we created, you know, and really being a product of it through and through, not just talking it, because we talk it a lot. A lot of us talk about this collaboration and my brothers and us sticking together. No, really doing it, sticking together and building, you know?
This sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Did this surprise you?
Well, I didn't know it would be as wildly successful as it was. Thank God for Eddie Bishop Long, who created. Watch this. I don't know if y'all ever heard that. You know, as a kid, his sermons I used to go to, and he would always do this. Watch this. Watch this. I kind of picked it up.
But he didn't do this.
He didn't put that part together.
Okay,
no.
this was you.
Yeah, I just my own little remix of it. But and it was a part of Confessions. Like it's always been on the record, but I never kind of gave it a
little meme visual.
But by the way, memes were not a part of that culture in that time. And I was just having fun, man. But y'all definitely watch this because there's something coming.
I can't wait till you're ready to talk about it.
Yeah.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Thank you for today. Thank you for an amazing weekend.
Yeah.
We're gonna need B-roll. I need to show people who
please
couldn't be here. You're coming back.
Please.
You're gonna do it for more, right? Because I keep telling people you gotta see the show.
Sadly enough, I think by the time this airs, it'll be over. So please share.
Will there be a
what you saw.
documentary or something around it? There has to be,
Of
right?
course,
Yeah, okay.
of course, we're in the works of all of that
Come
good
on,
stuff.
Please,
yeah,
they
we're
gotta see
monetizing.
it. It's really magical. It really, you bring in so much joy to people.
Yeah, very happy to be able to have done it now, and be on the lookout for new music next year.
And you are a legend.
I am a legend.
Is
Usher, baby.